Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. The players, the hustlers, the people of Buster, and everybody else in between. We're throwing it down from Los Angeles as we pick up the pieces from an absolutely classic and epic Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. Everybody that's been to a Rose Bowl told me that it was the most epic event that you're ever going to go to. And you know what? They weren't wrong. I thought Dodger Stadium was heaven on earth. Yet the Rose Bowl, when you walk in and you walk through the tunnel, like I felt like a player. And we were all like Michigan fans going through the tunnel at once. And I said to everyone, I said, man, I feel like a player. I'm getting nervous. And when you walk through and then you see the field set up for the first time and the Rose Bowl logo and everything and the pristine mountains, it really is a spectacle. So, great time at the Rose Bowl. We're going to be breaking it down tonight. We've got a full house on the program. Big man on campus going to step up and in and join us. The Rage Red, Cam Stewart, Andrew McKinnis. We've got some late night hockey that will hit, including the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Los Angeles Kings. Actually, I guess I could be at that hockey game. But we're here instead with you this evening, throwing it down in Hollywood, California. So I got a poll question up on my Twitter. And it's overwhelming. I guess everybody hates me because it was, who are you taking in the national championship football game? Michigan are point favorites in this game. And it's we have 489 responses so far. I just retweeted it again, so we'll start to pick up again. 65% of you taking the Washington Huskies in this game. Taking the Washington Huskies plus the points. And listen, you guys know, been banging the drum all year long. I'm in the Pacific Northwest. I see them. I've talked about them. We bet on them. We think they're great. We think they're awesome. And there really is no, like, easy matchup for anybody, right? Like, it's not like, oh, it would have been easier if it was Texas. It would have been harder. It would have been this or that. Like, Michigan, Alabama, Texas, and Washington, all great football teams that, right? And, you know, anybody could beat anybody, and Washington could beat Michigan, but Michigan could beat Washington. Shout out to everyone joining us on SiriusXM Channel 159. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. And you know what? We might have quite a few listeners. We met a lot of super cool Uber drivers this weekend, and they're all cranking SiriusXM and stuff. And I asked them, I say, you got SiriusXM? And they're like, of course I do. And I tell them, 159, baby. So shout out to everyone that got it done for us. And, you know, you want a crazy Uber story, I got to tell you. And you can't wax poetic about you want like tradition and then complain about their amenities, right? Because the Rose Bowl Stadium itself is perfect. It's cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like they have, you know, the facility is fine, right? Like the actual, now they don't have seats. It's old school and they squeeze you in, let me tell you. They squeezed like over 93,000 people in there. I'm not really sure that it's supposed to hold that many people, to be honest, all right? Because I got to tell you, it was not a lot of wiggle room in there. Like, we were squeezed in, man. I got to tell you. But there was no Wi-Fi. And I got to tell you, like, normally it's me. Like, normally I'm the one. It's like, my phone sucks. And I guess I don't have that. Can you help me? And I had, like, super rich people coming up to me. Like, I had some, like, one dude came up to me, like, decked out, like, nice sweater. I was like, oh, this guy looks like the Rose Bowl president or something like that. And I was drinking a White Claw, and I'm thinking, I don't know, what's this guy want from me? I'm kind of minding my business here. Comes up, and he goes, hey, listen, I'm sorry to ask you, but he goes, can I use your phone? I said, use my phone? I said, yeah, sure. He goes, can you call a number for me? And I said, yeah. And I said, what, your phone? And he goes, no, my phone doesn't work. And he wasn't alone. There, I saw a lot of people panicking because their phones didn't work. And they couldn't get their tickets and stuff like that. I saw some Bama kids. They were like, should we just jump the fence? I was thinking, yeah, that's going to end well for you, kid. So the Wi-Fi, okay, I get it. It's, you know what I mean? Enjoyed. So I didn't really care. I was like, okay, fine. I'm going to enjoy the event anyways. And I don't need to be on my tired day. But getting out of there after, you can't get an Uber if you can't get, like, service. Everything just keeps spinning and spinning and spinning. So anybody that knows Pasadena, and you know what a Rose Bowl is, dude, it's in the middle of like this valley and stuff in the mountains, all right? It's not like on the side of the road or anything like that. It's like a hike, man, like a serious hike, okay? So like, I don't know where, like, you don't know where you are. You're coming out of there. It's all dark. Like, you don't leave through the right section. Like, so I don't know. I'm on the side of the hill somewhere, and like in Pasadena, California, in the mountains. And like there, it was like very desolate, except I wasn't alone. Like some people were like close to crying and stuff. What are we going to do? And I just asked somebody, I said, which way is freaking Pasadena from here? And they told me, and I kept walking and walking and walking. I walked, I don't know, an hour, maybe 90 minutes or something like that. Like I got basically to the point where I couldn't walk anymore. Like there was, like I went through the town of Pasadena and you couldn't get any Ubers there. And I was basically like, and there was literally like thousands of people everywhere trying to get Ubers. So my deal was like, I'm going to outwalk all of you and like get in front of you and get it before. I walked so far, guys, I ended up on the side of an effing warehouse, okay? Like I was almost like ready to cry. I was like, I have no other choice after this. I was like, I'm on this side of the freeway now. Like there's nowhere to go. I can't get on the freeway and start walking the freeway here. Like, you know what I mean? So it was basically like one of those Hail Marys. It's like, God. And I sat there, I did it, and then out of the blue, man, it popped up. It said, Amir will arrive in 9 minutes. I was like, thank God. Right? I didn't even care if it would have said like 19 or 90. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm on the side of a warehouse somewhere here in Southern California in the middle of the night. I would have been raging if Michigan lost the game. Like my mood was really good, even like walking, because I was just high-fiving Michigan fans and stuff. Right? Like, you know what I mean? I was like, hey, we'll get an Uber one day. We'll get out of here. Don't worry. It's fine. We won the game. Oh, like, and then I was alone in the middle of like the side of some warehouse in industrial part of Pasadena. And I realized this isn't good. Like, I don't know where I'm walking to. And, I might get stuck on the side of the road here forever. It actually got to the point where I stopped a city bus. there was, and I saw it said Hollywood. I said, this bus going to Hollywood? And he goes, yeah, but not really. He goes, you're better off taking the 108 right on the corner there. And then I was thinking, I was like, all right, I could actually sit on a city bus in the middle of the night in LA here. And this is going to be an adventure. Or I could just try to find an Uber. So Michigan won. We got the Uber. I guess the worst thing that happened to me is I lost my debit card. And it has caused me some difficulties. You know what I mean? Along the way. What's the word I was looking for? I guess difficulties. It's just been a little bit of like, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't have that card. Right, so I'm doing everything online. Uber Eats, Uber here, Uber there, everything's online. Unfortunately, it's a cashless society that we're in right now. But let's try to make some cash on the program. The Rage Reddick can step up, and McKinnis will hit these late night hockey games. Keeping my thoughts on the championship game and more. This is Sports Rage.
States to legalize sports betting and finally, quietly, legalizing the online portion. And that, of course, is Delaware.
Delaware offered parlay cards through their lottery for years.
Right.
And the local retailers didn't want to lose that money. They didn't want to lose the guys that were coming in to fill out those parlay cards. And, they're buying some beef jerky and chips on the way out of the store as well.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices. And we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run, run, run.
That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
So right now we saw a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division.
I don't care if they win because all we care about is the money, baby, the money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I'm right in the 14.5.
And against the number as an underdog this year, meaning when they cover, they win outright.
There's a very real chance that this Michigan is the best chance they will have.
Oh, Rocky Top, Tennessee.
Coach, am I just a side better now?
I'm right here on Saturday on College Football Today. It's bowl season, baby.
College Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy Sports Today.
They were saying there's no way he could not possibly do this. He won't hold out.
Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
Scoring teams in the league. They have 80 goals so far.
College Football Today.
The Hawks team total in the first half is 0.5.
Pro Football Today.
Interesting props in this game, but I would be cautious laying this number here with the Houston Texans.
In-game live, all access.
The NFC in terms of these wild cards, in terms of the playoff.
In-game live, prime time.
Rich, I don't know, man. This has just been one of those games that doesn't make a lick of sense.
In-game live, overtime.
You want to give you over 3-1 on a pretty good team. It's hard not to take some flyers.
Football full circle.
Well, NFL officials stink. They always will stink, and they'll always ruin the game. Yeah, that's just part of what it is.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. And I guess, you know what? This is our first show of the year, isn't it? Countdown to our anniversary as we're kicking it live in Hollywood, California. We're going to be back in our regular studio and set up on Wednesday. And speaking of L.A., we got the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Los Angeles Kings.
Yep.
It was an epic Rose Bowl yesterday. And, of course, we've got the national championship game in Houston, Texas. Kirk Herbstreit said yesterday he thinks all college football championship, that the championship game should just always be at the Rose Bowl because of the setting, and it just sort of is what college football is. I get that, but at the same point in time, you know, there's other stadiums, and you don't want to have a West Coast bias. If you look, the Super Bowl, Las Vegas, Phoenix, Los Angeles. National championship was in Los Angeles. The Olympics are going to Los Angeles. Super Bowl, Las Vegas once again this year. The Final Fours in Arizona this year. There kind of is a massive West Coast bias going on right now in the sports world. But the title game is in Houston, Texas. And it'll be interesting to see. I'll tell you what, Michigan fans have money, so they're going to be there. And, you know, Washington fans are going to be excited. The Ranger Redhead Cam Stewart's excited because he had the Washington Huskies to beat the Texas Longhorns. What's going on, Cam? How you doing?
Doing great, Morency. And our final went exactly the same, and we did that same team bet, right? Like who's going to be in the finals? Michigan to beat Washington and Washington to beat Michigan. So now I had to come back with Washington. One of my books had Washington at 4.5. The minute the game ended, I hit it. So I got Michigan to win and Washington plus 4.5 in this spot, trying to make money. But what a comeback by Michigan. Blake Corum. Man, those were some hard runs there at the end of the game. McCarthy, he stood up and the defense held up. And as for Washington and Texas, I don't even know what to tell you, Morency. That was one of the craziest endings ever. The game that would never end, thank God Washington got it done. I was like, oh, my God, Texas could win this game after getting dominated, but Washington got it done.
It took me so long to get out of the Rose Bowl. I told the story earlier that I walked maybe, like, I'm not even exaggerating, like my foot was bleeding. When I got home, I was like, well, I took my shoe. I'm like, oh, God. Like, I had a foot, like, I cut my foot somehow. Like, my shoes are too tight. I had new shoes.
Don't wear new shoes.
Bad idea wearing new shoes on a trip. Like, you think, oh, I'm going to get new shoes for a trip. It's a horrible idea.
Horrible idea.
Because then they hurt. They hurt, right?
Yes.
Like,
it's like when you get new skates. You don't wear them the first game. You break them in practice. You take the pucks off them. You don't play a game with them on. Oh, that's a rookie
Yeah, but then I
move,
thought, I'm
Morency.
like, oh, I won't
Rookie
be
move.
walking out. No. So I couldn't get an Uber. I had to walk out of the stadium, Cam. I walked all the way
brutal.
through Pasadena, like onto the side of the road into industrial, like to get an Uber.
Yeah.
And my point is, though, I got back to my hotel and I saw like the last 3 minutes of the football game. So it took me, 3.5 hours? Because like I said, I saw the last 3 minutes. Like I saw them win at the end of the game. I was sort of like talking to people along the way. It was weird. I couldn't get an Uber. My Wi-Fi was working a bit, so I could see the score of the game. And I don't know. I didn't care. I was like, hey, Michigan won. So I was in such a good mood. But we'll bring McKinnis in here in a second. But we got a poll question up. Respond at SportsRage right now. Who do you think? Who are you taking? I didn't even say who's going to win. I said, who are you taking with the 4.5 points? And it's overwhelming. It's 65% of you are taking the Washington Huskies plus 4.5, which means 65% of you are going to be wrong. Hey! Let's bring in Andrew McKinnis right now. What's going on, McKinnis? How you doing?
McKinnis.
What's up, guys? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
All right. Happy New Year, McKinnis. So we've got some hockey games coming up here. We'll get back to this. I got my boy Mo Khan stepping up, and then we'll get Cam's thoughts after on the national champion. I don't know if you have any thoughts, McKinnis, on Michigan laying 4.5 against Washington. The game is in Houston, Texas, so there's real no advantage here. One thing that's interesting is these teams are playing. So they're playing next year on October the 5th in Seattle. So you're going to have a national championship rematch next year, or whatever happens. Football game next year. So ticket brokers in the Seattle area are rejoicing. Washington, Michigan, who you taking, McKinnis, in this game?
I think I might just take the over. I cashed with Michigan yesterday. I got a Washington team total ticket. So for someone that doesn't usually bet college football, I had a pretty good day. But I understand Michigan might get after them a little bit, and their defense can be tough. But could you guys talk me off the over here? Is that just one of those plays that everyone's going to be on? Or from what I saw, it's going to be a shootout. It should be a great game, I think.
It's the ultimate contrast, right? You literally have the number one defense in the country by far. I mean, if the Michigan Wolverines could be like the first team since 2011 to give up less than 10 points a game in an entire college football season, which is unheard of in the modern era. Imagine that. But they're not going to do it because they're not going to hold Washington to 10 points or 7 points in this game. But Washington, number one passing attack in the country, guys. Number one passing attack in the country against the number one defense in the country. But I think McKinnis is kind of onto something here, Cam. As good as Michigan's defense is, he's in a hurry to bet the under. And I'm not in love with the over, but I'm not in a hurry to bet the under. Quite frankly, look, the Washington Huskies guys gave up 30 or more points 6 times this year.
Yep.
Their defense gives up over 400 yards a game. That's ranked 97th in the country, okay? So, you know what, McKinnis? As you say, Michigan are going to be able to move the ball on them, right? And for all you, and I'll tell you what, I was maybe this is crazy and whatever. Who knows? I like this Husky team a lot, but I was nervous about Alabama. I'm like, dear God, it's Alabama, man. Like, and it was a heavyweight fight. It wasn't an easy football game. I kind of get the feeling that Michigan are going to roll Washington. It's crazy to say because Washington have met every test, but I think this is like the final knockout stage of the heist, Cam. It's the final. We're just going to bludgeon them.
I'm starting to get scared too. When I made that bet, I'm like, and then I started to think, I'm like, Blake Corum against that defense. And another thing people don't understand, Michigan's receivers are underrated. Like Texas are soft. What do we know about the Texas Longhorns? These guys always fold their tents in big games. They are the biggest joke of it. You want to talk about overrated programs? Texas. Every year, Texas. Washington was killing them in that game. Michigan, on the other hand, their defense are killers. They have Blake Corum running the back, and their offensive lineman, missing one of the best linemen, still did damage against Alabama. Washington, their defense, Gabe, Texas actually at the end of that game, they started making plays when they're playing like that zone. So I'm very scared. Think about Michigan. They think it's just the running attack. McCarthy running the ball and throwing the ball. It's Washington's volatile. Let's call it for what it is. I see Michigan putting up like 35, 40 points on them.
Yeah, I just thinking the same thing, Cam and McKinnis. I think that's McKinnis' over right there. I think Michigan are probably going to score like 38, 41 points
42? Yep.
In this football game. And I think Washington will get into the 30, 28 range. But you know the difference is, I think Michigan are, like you said, Blake Corum is a punishing back, bro. I don't know who I'm trying to compare him to. I don't really know. As like an NFL running back, he's a little Josh Jacobs-ish, but
yeah,
he's just a punishing back. And like, he's not super fast. He's not big. So you figure, well, you can stop him. Yet you don't. And he just rattles off these 8-yard runs. He moves the sticks. And I think McInnes and Cam, that Michigan are going to be able to keep Penix on the sidelines. Like, Michigan will march down the field, eat 6-7 minutes off the clock, and punch it in the end zone. And then they're just going to tee up and chase, and Penix is going to be running for his life. But that's the real matchup right there, guys. The Washington O-line versus Michigan's D-line.
Hey, Gabe, former Michigan guy, Tim Biakabatuka, former Michigan running back. He was a killer.
Yeah, from Montreal.
Yes, he was from Montreal. And McInnes is a Montreal Canadiens beating the Stars as big dogs tonight. We talked to you about this team. They're books good. Don't get it. Oh, they're laying 300 with
every
the Stars.
night.
We on crack? What's going on?
2.5 team total as well. Gabe, I want to ask you real quick just about the college football. I mean, one thing I did notice, and again, this is kind of an outside perspective, so I think it's kind of like a fresh, because I'm not really talking about it every week with you guys. Penix Jr., the way he's able to get the ball out of his hands so fast. Yes. I know you're a Michigan guy, but I think that does help my over because, man, Michigan made it look easy with their pass rush.
Oh, they dominated that. That's Alabama's O-line, too, but Alabama's O-line had problems this year.
States to legalize sports betting and finally, quietly, legalizing the online portion. And that, of course, is Delaware.
Delaware offered parlay cards through their lottery for years. Right. And the local retailers didn't want to lose that money. They didn't want to lose the guys that were coming in to fill out those parlay cards. And, they're buying some beef jerky and chips on the way out of the store as well.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices. We're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
Right now, he's a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division.
I don't care if they win because all we care about is the money, baby. The money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I'm laying the 14.5. And against the number as an underdog this year, meaning when they cover, they went outright.
There's a very real chance that this Michigan season is the best chance they will have.
Oh, Rocky Top, Tennessee.
Coach, am I just a side better now?
I'm right here on Saturday on College Football Today. It's bowl season, baby.
College Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy Sports Today.
They were saying there's no way he could not possibly do this. He won't hold out.
Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
Scoring teams in the league. They have 80 goals so far.
College Football Today.
The Hawks team total in the first half is 0.5.
Pro Football Today.
Interesting props in this game, but I would be cautious laying this number here with the Houston Texans.
In-game live all access.
In terms of these wild cards, in terms of the playoff.
In-game live, prime time.
Rich, I don't know, man. This has just been one of those games that doesn't make a lick of sense.
In-game live, overtime.
You want to give you over 3-1 on a pretty good team. It's hard not to take some flyers.
Football full circle.
Well, NFL officials stink. They always will stink, and they'll always ruin the game. You know, that's just part of what it is.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is Sports Rage. I am Gabriel Morency. All these people in the chat telling me why Michigan are going to lose. The same people are telling me why. I like it too. And I love you, Chris Brady. I know you're a big Pacific Northwest. Last week it was, and I even said, well, they didn't face a mobile quarterback. And, they never faced a mobile quarterback like Jalen Milroe. And they shut Milroe down. Now, Chris Brady just said, our boy and others, they haven't seen a quarterback like Michael Penix before. And I said, yeah, they've seen a quarterback like Michael Penix. They played against Michael Penix before. He was in the Big Ten before on Indiana. So, yeah, they've seen Michael Penix before. Clearly, Penix is in a groove now, and he didn't have Roman Duze on the Indiana Hoosiers. But that's another thing, too. We'll get to the hockey, but that's the one thing about Washington, guys. And I like this hockey team. I've told you they were going to beat Texas. But they're very one-dimensional. Washington, in a sense, if you take a Dunze away from them, and I think Michigan can, and you just slow him, you make Penix throw the ball to other people, and trust me, it's a good thing Penix gets rid of the ball quickly because he's going to have to against this Michigan defensive line. But I'm really curious to see what Michigan comes up with. They confuse, like even all the experts and insiders in the South are all saying, wow, like Saban just got out-coached and Tommy Rees got out-coached. That Michigan, not just the Michigan players, but the schemes that Michigan ran in the first half of that football game really confused Alabama. Like defensively, Michigan were running these twists and stunts, and they were lining up one way, and then they were changing. They weren't doing, like they would set up, and Milroe would think they were going to do something. They really played mindless with Alabama yesterday. And DeBoer's a hell of a coach, so we're going to have another battle like this coming up. But let's get to the hockey right now. Let's start off with the Toronto Maple Leafs and the LA Kings. So we have a Leaf fan and a Leaf hater in the house here. This game is taking place down the street from me right now.
Getting closer to McInnes's attitude with these bunch of tools. They come out every year. Oh, yeah, we're the Leafs. Yeah, really? Yeah, you pick up Samsonov, now you put him on waivers. This organization's a joke. Like, honest to God, you want to talk about every friggin' year? Oh, yeah, we're the best. The elitist fans. Like, I'm not like their fans. I'm sick and tired of this crap. Look at Montreal. They're plus 200 dog beating Dallas in, beating their faces in tonight. You know what, Gabe? I'm taking the Kings tonight. Screw the Leafs. Over 6.5. You know what? Who's going to stop this puck? Nobody. Not you, not McInnes, not anybody. This team does not deserve to be even close. You know what? You're getting value on the Kings. And if Leafs win this game, good on them for winning. They can't beat Columbus, for God's sakes. Take the Kings. You'll never get a better price than 30 cents. They should be laying 65.
I love it. Up, and he said, I can't, not me, not McInnes. Hey, listen, I'm down
Happy
the street,
New
kid.
Year, everybody.
If you want to sign me, I'll go over to the arena. I'll play goalie for them. I'll do it. They're going to pay me.
Why not,
$10,000.
Samsonov will let in 9. You'll let in 14. Who cares? We'll just bet the over.
A loss is a loss. A loss is a loss.
A loss is a loss.
I promise you I won't give up 14 because they'll pull me before that.
Yeah, that's true. Bring in the Zamboni driver.
I'll give Gabe the Patrick Waugh treatment. We'll keep him in there for the whole game.
What do you think, McInnes? Kings minus 135, 6.5 is the total right now.
Why not?
So, I mean, as you guys know, I've become a huge team total guy. So I'm on the Kings, but team total up and over 3.5. It's just kind of like a safety blanket as well because you really don't care who wins the game. Just get me to 4. And you shop around, you can get even money at some shops there. And 6 of the last 7 losses for the Maple Leafs, they've given up at least 4 goals. Sometimes 5, sometimes 6. Hell, even one time they give up 9 goals. And that's the one that Cam was talking about. So 5 of their last 6 games on the road in general have gone over the total. And here's what I really like here, guys. This is not like, not that LA ever falls into flat spots, so to speak, but this is not a flat spot whatsoever. This is not a spot LA will take lightly. They're off 2 losses. Edmonton, Vegas, and now Toronto. So if you don't think that, they care about this game, they're going to be locked in. They're going to be ready to go at home. And as much as they've been good road warriors this year, LA are a great home team because they have center depth. They have 3 centers that can go out there and get the job done. They get the last change now. When Sheldon Keefe has to go up against a team like that, he gets out-coached all night long. Give me the team total over for the Kings.
Yep.
There would be said, too, what you said. Like, listen, the Kings, that's what makes the Kings good, though, McInnes. The Kings don't really have flat spots. They show up. They work hard every night. They're a very consistent franchise and team. But one thing is with the Leafs, and it's the Leafs need to understand that even though the Leafs never win, they are sort of like the Lakers of the NHL or something like that. Players get fired up to play the Leafs. Like no team is ever going to be down and say, oh, it's just the Leafs tonight, right? Like if it's the Rangers, an original 6 team, they get fired up. You get all these other Canadian teams, the building's always rowdy. Oh, the Leafs are coming to town, right? Like nobody likes them. Even in LA, like it's, you know what I mean? Like, and you get all these key players in the league. They grew up in Ontario, right? They played in the Ontario Hockey League, right? It's a big game for them. They know, man, this is the game that my relatives get to see on TV, right? And so the Leafs are at a spot. It's tough for them to deal. They're always going to get the other team's best. That's what I'm going with. The Sharks and the Red Wings, McKinnis, what do you do with this game? The Red Wings are minus 200 road favorites, total 6.5 as well.
Here's the thing, guys. I mean, this Sharks team, they hung around for a little while. They went on a pretty good streak. I don't like the number. I don't like the price here on the Red Wings. I'm just going to take the full game over. I think that we're seeing a lot of games where, teams were decently heavy favorites against the Sharks. And when the Sharks would lose, they would lose something like 3-1, 4-1. And the team total would hit, but the full game over wouldn't hit. But I just think that good goaltending they got that was saving them won't really be there to save them as much in the second half of this season. And Detroit, as much as their offense has gotten better, they had goalie issues, defensive issues. I've never really been worried about Detroit's offense, more so just worried about their defense. I want to get some goals in this one here.
Cam, what are you doing with this game?
I couldn't agree with McKinnis more. I think Detroit is one team. If you look at Detroit, they score a lot of goals. In San Jose, they won't get into a track meet with Detroit, and that's a big recipe for disaster. We were making money on the Sharks when we were on that little roll. Now they're kind of coming back down to earth. Should be, a 6-3 type of hockey game. I see the Red Wings coming in and taking care of business. McKinnis is right. You don't want to lay $2, but I don't mind. You put a parlay together with Detroit Kings and the Kings over and the Detroit over, it's almost like 8-1. Or you could just if you don't want to do totals on both games, like the parlay with the Kings and the Kings over and Detroit is plus 396, almost 4-1. I think that looks pretty good as well. So I expect goals from the late night games.
All right,
Patrick Kane off to a great start too, guys.
Here. Yes.
Islanders and Avs right now. There's about 4 minutes left in this game. The Islanders are up 4-3. Any love? Let's see what's the updated number here right now. Is it 4-3, under 4 left. I'm surprised. I was going to say not a lot of value with Avalanche to come back. They're down. They're running out of racetrack right now. You could almost argue the Islanders at minus 170 is not a bad in-game play here. There's still a lot of time left. 9.5.
Second period.
Yeah, second period. 9.5 is the total. Are we going to get to 10 in this game, McKinnis?
I don't really want to press my luck because I already hit the over in this game, boys. But I kind of want to take Colorado. Look, you said it earlier. Cam, my mistake. Cam said, we're getting this price here on the Kings. And that's kind of how I feel right now. I know it's an in-game spot. It's how I feel about the Avalanche. I'm getting close to plus 150, even better than that at some spots here. What is it? 5 minutes to go in the third period. We have so much time for them to get it going. And I look at the team total over 3.5 for them. Guys, that's minus 125. So how does that make much sense?
In the second period? It's in the second period, right? With 3 minutes to go. And we're getting the Avalanche at plus 185?
How much time? Plus 140. It just moved to plus 150.
It's a great price on Colorado with a period and change to play. They're at home, too.
Yeah, but I think what McKinnis just said is better with the over 3.5.
No, I was saying I don't want to take it. I was saying it's not worth it enough for value-wise. But
all you got to do is they score another goal. They could score another goal. Let's say the Islanders score in the next goal 5-3. You just need to score another goal, right? You're sort of counting on the call. There's different ways of looking at it. All right, what about the Flyers and the Oilers, which was tied at 2, and it just locked up right now? Has somebody scored in this game?
I have no idea, but I will say this. All of a sudden, the floodgates have opened. Edmonton was leading. Flyers are coming back. It's the last game of the road trip. I hate to say it, Morency. I see pucks in net tonight. I see, rubber and twine.
Well, Vancouver just scored again. It's 3-0.
Vancouver's killing Ottawa. Yeah, Ottawa, there was a bad spot for Ottawa. Vancouver's coming off that loss. Tocchet went nuts. He said, we're going to kill the Senators. That price was a rope-a-dope price, too, at only 50 cents. Great pick with Vancouver. You don't get them at that price. But, hey, Oilers just scored 3-2. Damn, too late. I would have said take the over in that game because I see more goals. Actually, Gabe, I like over 7.5 plus 112 as well. It's an overfest tonight on the show.
Seems
more
like there's goals every second here.
Yes, goals for everybody. More.
This is one of those nights where you just can't feel bad about saying, yep, give me the over, give me the in-game over. This is one of those nights where you just need goals.
Just keep clicking on, you don't want to take it under because it's just, a lot of sloppy goal to lately. I will note, too, you have the Gretzky angle here. Wayne Gretzky's in Vancouver today for whatever reason. He's hanging out with Rick Tocchet, and he met with the Canucks and stuff.
Cool.
So, anytime you have Wayne Gretzky in the building, and he actually, I don't know if he went to the practice, but whatever, he was hanging around with the Canucks. So I knew that little angle. I thought, when I saw that, I'm like, they ain't losing with Wayne Gretzky in the building tonight, knowing that he's buddies with Tocchet, right? They were probably going over the national championship game, Washington and Michigan.
Should we take the 4.5 or the over? Yeah, exactly.
He's like, what do you think, Toc? You taking the Wolverines or the Huskies?
States to legalize sports betting and finally, quietly, legalizing the online portion. And that, of course, is Delaware.
Delaware offered parlay cards through their lottery for years. And the local retailers didn't want to lose that money. They didn't want to lose the guys that were coming in to fill out those parlay cards. And, they're buying some beef jerky and chips on the way out of the store as well.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices. And we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
So right now we saw a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division.
I don't care if they win because all we care about is the money, baby. The money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I'm laying the 14.5. And against the number as an underdog this year, meaning when they cover, they went outright.
There's a very real chance that this Michigan season is the best chance they will have.
Oh, Rocky Top, Tennessee.
So, am I just a side better now?
I'm right here on Saturday on College Football Today. It's bowl season, baby.
College Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy Sports Today.
They were saying there's no way he could not possibly do this. He won't hold out.
Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
Scoring teams in the league. They have 80 goals so far.
College Football Today.
The Hawks team total in the first half is 0.5.
Pro Football Today.
Interesting props in this game, but I would be cautious laying this number here with the Houston Texans.
In-game live all access.
In the NFC in terms of these wild cards, in terms of the playoff.
In-game live, prime time.
Rich, I don't know, man. This has just been one of those games that doesn't make a lick of sense.
In-game live, overtime.
You want to give you over 3-1 on a pretty good team. It's hard not to take some flyers.
Football full circle.
Well, NFL officials stink. They always will stink, and they'll always ruin the game. That's just part of what it is.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Oh, my God.
This is Sports Rage. I am Morency. Duke starting to pull away from the Cuse right now, 62-49 with 10 minutes left in that basketball game. NHL hockey, there's been just a flood of goals. Still 4-3 in the Mile High City right now. The Avs are up to plus 160. The Oilers have taken a 3-2 lead on the Flyers. The Canucks are, I don't know, I was going to say they're going to get people fired, but they've already fired people. So it looks like Jacques Martin's not the answer, but Vancouver just like Ottawa right now, 5-0 in the first. That's a route when you want to get into hockey here. And McInnes, you already hit your team total, right, here in this game?
Good pick.
Like you're just cashing tickets here left and right here in the first period even.
You guys want to know the life of someone that sells picks, though? My best bet of the day was Penguins, right, in regulation. And every other bet that I released to my clients hit. And it's a good thing. But you know how people are with their money. They're going to go crazy on the best bet. You label the words best and bet together, and they're going to put dominantly more on that one game than the other 4 or 5 picks you gave out. So here I am, happy with a great night, and I'm just frustrated because the Penguins got embarrassed. You know, they down 3-0 in the first period. So I should be celebrating a great night here, but people that are, probably got too crazy with the best bet, and, that's how it goes.
I don't know how Morency feels about this, but when I do like gold, silver, and bronze, my bronze is the same as the gold. I look at everything the same. Like, is one bet better than the other? If I like it, I like it. Like, you know what I mean? If I got to like this team, I'm going to bet this team. I don't know. I find it hard to like love a bet more than another bet. That's just me though. Like, if I like it, I like it. It's hard, McInnes. That sucks.
It is.
I've always advised people, and I don't always stick to it, but I think the smartest thing to do, and I understand ways of going about it. I know you like different percentage of units and stuff like that, McInnes, but for me, I sort of like every bet. If you won't get in trouble if you bet the same amount on every game all the time.
Flat bet.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, and you just sort of, you can have certain games a little bit more or not, and I understand that. But time and time again, like you said, people will ruin their own good day, right? With, like you, Sunday Night Football as an example. You'll have a good day on Sunday football, and let's say you're betting 100 a game all day or 200 a game all day, and you had a good day, and then next thing you know, you're dropping a nickel or a dime on the Sunday nighter, and you lose it all. Right? It's like, well, I had a good day, but I ended up losing this game. I've always thought, like, in the long run, if you bet the same amounts, or at least if you have a system, okay, this is the game and that's what in my best times, it's what I have. I sort of have, I like it, love it, hammer it system, and I stick to that, and I live with the consequences of it, but there's different ways of approaching it. But before the year started, McInnes, you and I said, I thought one of the best bets in the NFL this year was the Green Bay Packers over 7.5 wins. Now, I don't know if we can say it was never in doubt, but at least it didn't even take to get to the last week that we actually needed to win the game. But what a weird season for the Packers of ups and downs. Yet here they are right now, 1 win away. They've already gone over the win total, but they're 1 win away from cashing their ticket to the postseason. Only 3-point favorites against the Chicago Bears. Who do you like? Are your Green Bay Packers going to get it done?
I think they will, Gabe, and hats off to you. It's been a bumpy road with me. I know you kind of were giving me some smack talk about it when my chirping with Jordan Love at one point in the season, but the fact of the matter is this is actually a young and dangerous wide receiver core. I mean, this is not just a core that's going to be good this year. They're building for the future. They've got a lot of weapons, a lot of young, fresh faces. And what I love about this offense is there really isn't that one guy. I mean, look at the game that Reed had this past weekend. You've got Watson, you've got Romeo. I mean, there's so many different options, so many guys that are making an impact. And guess what? Aaron Jones wasn't even healthy for most of the year. I'm impressed. I'm laying the number here. I think that their defense is getting better as well. But one thing I look at a lot in my handicapping is time of possession. This Packers team, not just this year, but last year, the year prior to that, they take a long time on the clock. Now that Aaron Jones is back and they're running the ball more, keep the ball out of the Bears' hands. Run the ball, mix things up a little bit, and I think they're going to really cause a lot of issues for their opposition this weekend.
I think, listen, I'm surprised that they're only 3 points. I am and I'm not. I guess it keeps with the theme of people not believing in them. And I get it. The Chicago Bears are a hot football team right now, and I've been riding the Bears. But now this game is on the road. It's a little bit different, guys. This last game the Bears played, the crowd let the organization know how they feel about the quarterback situation, right? They were chanting, "We want Fields, we want Fields." I think that was sort of the last hurrah there, right? Now they're going to go on the road, and you got a team battling for a playoff spot, their lives on the line. 170 on the money line. -3. Normally it's only like -150 when it's 3 points like this, but I think the Packers are the play here as hot as are. Cam, what's your pick for the Packers and the Bears?
McInnes and I have gotten close over the last little while, Gabe, but you know me and the Bears. They're my other team. They've been so friendly to me. The Bears just keep on getting me honey and salmon, and I come back to them week after week after week. Keep Fields. This team's doing well right now. They're playing with house money. They would love to knock Green Bay out. Short price. I think it's a very tight game. I will take the underdog in this spot. I would not be surprised if the Bears shocked the world and won, but I can understand Green Bay winning a close game. Everyone's going to think that line's tight. Anyway, I'm betting the Bears this week. I'm probably on an island. A lot of people think, hey, look, last week I was on the Saints and a lot of other stupid stuff that won. So I think the Bears are live this week. But Green Bay, very good. You were on them too, Morency. I know I saw your picks. And I'll tell you, they beat the crap out of Minnesota. But the Bears, one thing I know they'll be ready for, they don't like the Packers. And the one thing is, they would love to prevent them from making the playoffs. I expect a very tight game, very good game.
Yeah, but another thing is they also never beat the
No,
Packers.
They don't.
That was the whole thing of Aaron Rodgers, his dominance into the comeback this year, right? Then Jordan Love got it done against the Bears earlier this year. Listen, I think the Bears, I like what they've done. I like Fields. I think they're going to end up keeping him. I think they're going to trade the first overall pick. I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to do the same thing they did last year. They're going to trade the first overall pick. They're going to get another team's like a couple of first-round picks out of someone and a couple other like players or something because somebody's going to go crazy and want to trade up Williams. So I think Justin Fields will end up still being the quarterback in Chicago. But like you said, McInnes, this Green Bay Packer team, they had ups, they had downs, and I'm not saying that Jordan Love was perfect, but when everybody was criticizing him earlier, Aaron Jones wasn't there. The wide receivers weren't there. And you surrounded him with a bunch of wide receivers that even Aaron Rodgers couldn't deal with, right? So now you want Jordan Love to deal with it. But I don't know if you remember, I told you I was a big Reed fan. I said, man, this Reed dude's the real deal. Like, he makes plays. And it sort of just opened things up. Everybody else is making plays right now. And like you said, McKiss, Packers are playing their best football, as far as their health is concerned right now. Like Aaron Jones said, this is as healthy as I've been right now. You can see the confidence level with Jordan Love. He's one win away from it's sort of like becoming a man, like, so to speak. Like, he's one win away from winning a playoff spot. And when you're an NFL quarterback, that's a feather in the cap, right? My first year as starter, I brought us to the playoffs. I don't think he gets denied, McInnes.
Defense is the big key, I'd say, in this one. Last time they met, 38-20 was the score. You look at some of these Bears scores, though. 1 week, they're putting up 30-plus. Then next week, they get cooled down a little bit. They have had a good 4-week stretch here, but I'd say, as much as I talk about the depth at the receiver position, like, Cam, I'm curious, do you think that Bears correlates with the under, or you think they can keep this scoring up and outscore them?
I think I don't really have an opinion on the total right now. All I know is, and I understand, like, it's a short price with Green Bay, and you're looking at it going, it looks great, and they're fantastic. Listen, I'm a Seahawks fan. I told you, like, this team, they're horrible. Like, Green Bay is a much better team than Seattle. Like, they can't even beat Pittsburgh at home. But here's the deal. The Bears have been improving week after week after week. They're playing for Fields. They're playing for jobs, and it's going to be a real hard-fought game. I'm just saying it is a pretty tight price with Green Bay at 3, but I just believe in Chicago. I think this is a team that I think Green Bay is going to get a mittful from Chicago. I would lean to the over. I think Green Bay is going to score, and I think Chicago could score on them. That's what I'm thinking, too. I think it's going to be a one-possession game, so obviously I'll take the dog with the points, but it'll be a classic.
There definitely is, and you got to warn people. Just because there's a tendency people think, well, this team needs to win a game, that they're going to win the game, right? But there's also the saying, if a team needs to win a game and it's the last game of the year, they're not a great dominant team, right? Because they need the last game of the year to get in. But I think Green Bay can handle it. I don't think like that. I don't think it's too much for them. You called it, Cam. You were right about your Seattle Seahawks. They couldn't beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I think Green Bay can handle Chicago, in my own opinion. What do you think, McKinnis, about the Buffalo Bills? The Bills game is another one of these scenarios where the Bills need to win the game. Like, the Bills might win the division. They might not make the playoffs. There's like a lot of scenarios for the Bills still. Like, the Bills beat the Dolphins, they win a division, and they skyrocket, right? And the standings and in the seeding here, and they're hosting a playoff game. They can still get in if they lose, if the Steelers lose, or if the Jags lose. The Bills would still get into the playoffs. The Dolphins are in the playoffs no matter what, but the Dolphins would win a division, or the Dolphins go from a wild card. So there's just so much on the line in this game. Miami are a pretty beat-up football team coming into this game, too, right now. What's your pick here? Buffalo, 3-point road favorites.
Here's what I'll say about this game is that I like teams that have faced adversity. The only adversity Miami's having to face right now is the injury bug, maybe. Buffalo is a team that everybody was talking their smack about them at the start of the season or midway through the season. This is the time you want to be red hot. I look at Miami, look across the board at some losses they have. There aren't many of them, but when they have faced adversity, they've bounced back, sure, but when they get that gut punch, right, in the 8th round, they're pretty much dead by the 11th.
They don't beat good teams.
I mean, the thing is, last week, guys, was embarrassing. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. We can definitely say that. But at the same time, when I see that team get punched in the face and go on the ground, they're like stumbling when they get back up. Like, they don't look like they're like energized and ready to keep going in the fight, and so I like the Bills spot right now. I would potentially look at the team total. I think they can get to the mid to late 20s, I believe, on this Dolphins team. Is their defense underrated or overrated because of how much they score? That's my question about this Dolphins team. I think the Bills can score on them.
I think the Bills fans, people don't understand this either. They're snowbirds. There's going to be tons of Bills fans. They love going to Miami. And another thing is, the Bills murdered Miami earlier on in the year.
Yeah, they go everywhere.
Here's the thing. Bills Mafia, they're going to take over that damn stadium. I'm going to tell you this, Morency, I feel this game. I think the Bills just don't win this game. I think they win by 11. I think they murder Miami. I think they punch him in the face and get into the playoffs. I know people are like, ooh, 3's a lot of points, but I don't believe in the Dolphins. I think the Bills are a better team than them. And I think they're going to go on the road. And Allen plays well against Miami. The Bills always struggle against the Patriots. I'm on the Bills. Double-digit win, buddy. Let's rock.
Cam, I think they're a better team in the heat. They play better when it's warm out.
Yes, they do. They do. They actually do.
Yeah.
They're not built to be a cold weather team.
Oh,
it's crazy
weird
to say that, but Josh Allen isn't a great cold weather quarterback.
No.
They catch a break, though, the Bills, because last year they played in Miami, and they played them early in the season. And Buffalo's players were, like, throwing up, and they didn't handle it well. No, they didn't, Cam. Like, it was a really hot day. They really, they were one of those, they needed IVs. Guys were, like, collapsing, throwing up and stuff. And so to catch a break playing at this time of the year there now, it's not hot. It's not cold.
One of the first states to legalize sports betting, and finally, quietly, legalizing the online portion, and that, of course, is Delaware.
Delaware offered parlay cards through their lottery for years, and the local retailers didn't want to lose that money. They didn't want to lose the guys that were coming in to fill out those parlay cards, and they're buying some beef jerky and chips on the way out of the store as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices, and we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
go run, run, run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
Right now he's a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division
I don't care if they win because all we care about is the money, baby, the money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I'm laying the 14.5. And against the number as an underdog this year, meaning when they cover, they went outright.
There's a very real chance that this Michigan season is the best chance they will have.
Oh, Rocky Top, Tennessee.
Coach, am I just a side better now?
I'm right here on Saturday on College Football Today. It's bowl season, baby.
College Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy Sports Today.
They were saying there's no way he could not possibly do this. He won't hold out.
Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
Scoring teams in the league. They have 80 goals so far.
College Football Today.
The Hawks team total in the first half is 0.5.
Pro Football Today.
Interesting props in this game, but I would be cautious laying this number here with the Houston Texans.
In-game live, all access.
The NFC in terms of these wild cards, in terms of the playoff.
In-game live, prime time.
Rich, I don't know, man. This has just been one of those games that doesn't make a lick of sense.
In-game live, overtime.
You want to give you over 3-1 on a pretty good team. It's hard not to take some flyers.
Football full circle.
Well, NFL officials stink. They always will stink, and they'll always ruin the game. You know, that's just part of what it is.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, we'll get McKinnis out of here in a couple of minutes. Follow him on Twitter, McKinnis Picks. See him over at wagertalk.com. NHL hockey right now, 1-0. Panthers over the Coyotes. We're going into the third period. The third period has just started in Denver, 4-3 right now for the Islanders over the Avalanche. The Avs are now plus 165. The Islanders are minus 210. Now I would say there's starting to be a little bit of value with the Avs, I think. I didn't like it at plus 140, but now you're starting at plus 165. Oilers up 4-2 right now on the Flyers. 18 minutes left in the third period. Total is 8.5 there. Wow. The Oilers are 30-1. Flyers are plus 1,200, guys. The Vancouver Canucks are 250-1. They're up 5-0. You get plus 22.
The Sens are coming back.
Plus 22. Or you get 4.5 goals with them, Cam, plus 140.
I don't know, man.
You got to believe they're going to have an intense little intermission here in the room.
I don't know. I don't know if Jacques Martin is going to get too intense with anything. I think he's kind of like, he even told these guys, he's like, what the hell are you guys doing?
Lose this game like nothing or something tonight? One thing with the Canucks is we've seen they're jerks. They won't let up.
Yeah. How does 7-2 Canucks sound or 8-2? Like, they might just lay it on thick. Like, I don't even trust Ottawa to cover a puck line.
Well, they're plus 4.5.
Yeah,
and 1-0 for the Red Wings. Okay, McKay, before we get you out of here, the other games in the NFL, big games. The Houston, Indy stuff and Jacksonville and all that. Any opinion on those division games? Those are like important ones too. Or anything else in the NFL, if not those ones?
Yeah, Gabe, I kind of have an ugly one for you, and I feel like it might be a popular one, but I don't care. I think the Bucs are absolutely going to dominate the Panthers. They kind of wake-up call last week. I kind of liked that they lost. A lot of sharp people were on the Saints. I think it's a big bounce-back spot. Last time they didn't cover this number against the Panthers. Panthers were bad against the run, but now they're bad against the pass, man, and I feel like we're going to see Baker Mayfield bounce back and this Bucs team cover the 5.5.
Now their owners throwing drinks on fans and stadiums too.
$300,000 drink. Yeah, he's got money.
How rich he is. Yeah, it doesn't matter like that, is it, Joe?
Yeah.
Thanks, McKinnis.